Hey guys, B4MV Fan here, and today I want to be going over my first impressions of No Man's Sky, this year's biggest hype train. So come with me on this journey through space and time, and let's just check out what makes this game so great. Now, just so everybody knows, I am not giving a biased opinion whatsoever. I did not hear anything about this game or even do any research until literally about maybe 2 or 3 days before I actually purchased it on launch day. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. They're going to be going over or 4 different plots of the game. We'll be going over the combat, the story, the visuals, as well as whether or not I think you guys should purchase this. So, let's start with the first part, which is going to be story, which is the main reason why anybody purchases a game, anyways, nowadays. The story of No Man's Sky really is for you to get to the center of the universe. The game doesn't really make that apparent, unfortunately. Like, quite literally, when you start the game, you're presented at a white screen and you just hit square to initiate, and then that's it. You repair your first ship and then you're off into space and you can do whatever the hell you want. The game just kind of like tells you, like, yeah, you're supposed to go to the center of the universe, but as you progress through the story, there's going to be other things you can do. Now, you don't have to go to the center of the universe. In fact, you can go whatever planet you feel like. But I mean, that's the overall main arc of the game, is for you to go to the the center of the universe. Now, I've read a lot of crazy stories about this game already. In fact, I just read one recently that said that this guy managed to max out his ship, his exosuit, and his multi-tool on the first planet, which is crazy. Because I think I literally got off that first planet like as quick as possible, not because I wanted to hurry up, but just because I didn't think about exploring the entire planet. Now, just to put into retrospect with the planets, guys, they're literally the size of real life Earth. Now, most game worlds really aren't that big. I mean, like, one of the bigger ones I ever played in was like Fallout 3 and all its DLC, and I mean, like, anything Bethesda really, but Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, plus like Skyrim. Like, this game doesn't even come close. Like, literally, I was on a planet, I think, for about a good, almost, I want to say, like 4 hours, and I think I only covered like California in terms of like size. Because when I left the planet, I realized I only explored like I said, like a state-sized like area. It really puts in perspective how big this game is. And that's another thing I'll be leading into, is the fact that, there are over 18 quintillion planets. And that's like over a billion times a billion. Like, it's a ridiculous amount. And, like, you're not going to finish this whole game. You're not going to explore every planet. It's physically impossible to do it. But that doesn't make it any less fun or beautiful. As you can see through the gameplay, this game actually looks visually great. Considering how big it is, it doesn't dumb down the graphics or anything visual-wise. And one of the crazier parts is that, like, there's no loading screens. Everything that you do, everything that gets explored is seamlessly generated on the fly. Whether that be just from transitioning from, like, across the planet to going underwater. And one of the biggest surprises is like going to space. Like, I figured that if I were to launch into space, that it would, take like 15 seconds for like the game to load up like the space part of it. But no, like, that seamless, absolutely seamless. So, that's an incredible part, considering how big and sheer size this entire project is, and to be able to load it like seamlessly is incredible. It's awesome. You're not like, looking at like pins like in Fallout 4, waiting for the game to load. So that's fantastic. Another thing I'm going to go over, which is going to be like the actual gameplay itself. Like I said, it's an unbiased review. I've never played Minecraft. I've never played any kind of resource management game other than like a couple of real-time strategies, but those are like different than what this is. So like I said, I've never played any of this. So when I first watched a couple videos like on IGN, Game Ranks, and Game Informer and stuff like that, like, I was like, okay, I can see the hype, like, with the space travel and like how big this world is. That's cool. So I bought it, and this game really is mostly about, as I mentioned, resource management. There are different resources that you need to power up certain things, such as your multi-tool, your life support, your ship, and some things require a specific like isotope. Some of them require only like a certain type of crafting item, such as antimatter, and you only have so many inventory slots. Like as you progress through the game, you unlock more, but I mean, you kind of have to pick and choose, like what you want. Like, okay, like do I drop this, rare item that could be sold for really high to get this, plutonium that I need? Or should I just risk it, fly up to space real quick, sell it, and then come back? You know, it's kind of difficult considering that I'm new to this, but at the same time, like, it's just kind of having to remember, like, okay, this is where this is at. I'm gonna come back for it, and then get it later. But because this game and the worlds are so huge, you might forget where the hell you left it. It's not as easy as, okay, it's next to like this NPC in this town. No, it's like, okay, like I'm in New York now. I gotta come back to Nevada. I'll remember to do that because there's so many freaking states and so many landmarks that you're gonna bound to forget where you dropped that item. So you're just better off selling or kind of picking and choosing. In my personal experience, I felt that it was more important to carry around your materials and stuff like that versus like the green items, which are just items you sell for units. Now, for the next part, since we're now going into space on screen, which by the way, it's like I said, it's seamless, it's gorgeous, and when I guys show you like the galaxies and stuff like that, it really puts you into perspective on how small you are. Like this is the size of the planet, if you can see it on screen. Like that's huge. Like I just came from a small plane. Now, this is one of 18 quintillion planets. It's crazy, and your goal is just to hop on as many as possible. And when you look at it, these are all galaxies, guys. Every single one of those things that look like stars are galaxies. There's hundreds of thousands of them, actually billions of them. And even if I were to go and travel to that center of the universe, I mean, look how many are going to be flying on screen right now, like thousands. Just tons of galaxies that aren't even going to be seen or touched or even explored, at all, because of how sheer size this entire game is. It's incredible. Anyway, back to one of the other points of the game besides resource managing is combat. There is a little bit of combat. You fight occasionally like the law enforcement that's in the game. It's called Sentinels. I mean, they don't really get pissed off unless you mine too much of the resources or like break into facilities that you have to sometimes. It's not great. It's not fluid. I mean, like you're an explorer, like you're not designed, as a soldier to come out. And I mean, you have a multi-tool. You basically have like Dead Space. You have like a multi-tool that you can do a little bit of damage with, but you can't sit there and fight the whole world. That's okay. One of my biggest gripes though is the space combat. Now, when you go into space sometimes, I mean, I want to say in my experience it's been about 20 to 25% of the time, space pirates will come and they want to loot your resources, your money, everything that you got. And the space combat is flat out awful. It is not anything like Star Wars. It's not anything like any other space sim that has ship-to-ship combat. You have a semi-slow ship, at least compared to these guys. The AI, there's multiple of them. There's probably about like, the minimum I've seen has been about like 3 to 4. I've seen at most like 16. You're not winning any of those fights. You can maybe win a one-on-one fight, maybe 2-on-1. Anything more than that, you're screwed. Your ship doesn't maneuver very fast, and the lock-on and fighting, like having to shoot, you have to aim ahead of your targets. It's too much. Like you can't handle that, and there's no backup. There's nothing to save you. Like you literally can only hope that you can try to evade it, or take out just enough to where you can like leave the system. You have to hope that there's a space station nearby or a planet or something nearby to save you, because if not, you're toast every single time. Out of all 5 deaths that I've had in the game, they've all been from space combat. So one of my biggest gripes is that, unfortunately. But everything else about the game is, it's fun, it's different, it's new. Now, leading up to, is the game for you? For one, I'm gonna be honest, don't pick it up at full price. This is, believe it or not, this is a indie game being sold as a AAA title. If you understand what that means, that's like, your buddy's like mixtape being sold off like a Drake album. Like, it's a really small scale game that's just got so much hype and so much behind it that it couldn't live up to the expectations that the world has perceived. And I mean, it sounds harsh, a harsh criticism, but I mean, it got the same treatment as Watch Dogs. And I mean, I liked Watch Dogs when it first came out, but I feel like the hype for it was so high that people had made this game bigger and more than what it actually is. And that's what happened with this game. So if I had to retail price this one, I would say pick it up at $40. I mean, literally like $40 brand new should be like what you get. Because unless you're like addicted to Minecraft or into space or something like that, this game really doesn't do anything special or different. To be quite honest, it's beautiful, it's fun, it's definitely like a rather unique game for the genres of games that have been coming out in the past like 5-6 years. It's definitely different, and it sets itself out away from the norm. But overall, it's not one of those games that you're gonna be enjoying after a couple months or even a month for that fact. I've had the game for about a week. I've sunk maybe like 12 to 14 hours into the game. To be quite honest with you, I haven't really played it in about 4 days. Besides the fact that I've been working, I've been just addicted to Overwatch more. I don't know if that's just because I like FPSs or what, but this just game doesn't hold my rendition, like it doesn't. And there's nothing really calling to me like, oh, dude, I have to get back on and I have to do this, like this game kind of like is a time killer, and like it almost feels like a chore, which is unfortunate. So if you're gonna pick it up because you like space. Pick it up because you like, just having something to do. If you don't feel like playing online, if you feel like just, vegging out, then, like do this, like have a good time. Soundtrack sounds great. It's, the sound effects in the game are very like spacey, obviously. And yeah, I mean, pick it up at $40. If not, borrow it or rent it for like a week. Get your fill, get an idea of what you want to do with it. So that's my final verdict. Pick it up cheap or rent it. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to check out this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this and more. What did you guys think? Did you guys pick this up? Let me know what you guys thought, what you guys want to do with it. I myself, it's probably going to sit up on my shelf for a bit. I might come back to it in a couple of days, maybe a week or so, but it got too much hype. So sorry Hello Games. It's okay. So anyways, like I said, subscribe to me if you haven't. If you are, let me know what you guys thought, what you guys did with this game if you have it, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. This is going to be B4MB Fan signing out.